It's definitely a new experience for us because we've been the young guys for 4 years. We've had Rob Stoner and Shane Hess, who were here for 6 years with us. And we kind of had to fill those roles, but they did a good job of leading us and kind of showing us how to be the leaders and trying to mimic what they did for us has made it easier.
Made it easy too because the group of freshmen that we had this year are smart guys and caught on real quick, so it made our job easier. And I was impressed with them. It was a talented group of kids.
And like he just said, the group, I think there's 6 of them. 6 freshmen came in this year, and they're taking to our everything really quickly, and they picked up real easily on all of our stuff, and so it makes it a lot easier for us as upperclassmen to help them out.
What are some of the things that you've worked with the young guys on that some of the pointers that you've given them to kind of help them in their development?
Just don't get frustrated when something doesn't go your way, and always listen to the coach because the coach is always right.
You got to stay in the weight room. None of us came in as freshmen expecting to play. None of us were big enough, and they just got to remember off the field is going to help them a lot on the field. So.
Just making the transition from high school to college is definitely different on the offensive line. Other skill positions, it's easier to transfer. You're still going to be fast and you still can get in and out of cuts, but technique-wise, going on the offensive line, going from high school to college is a big change. Just in your stance and your technique and how you pass block is just so different that we try to focus on the little things with them now, because if they have that down, well, they can concentrate on the plays later, and they can concentrate on knowing our offense and excelling after.
Once they get the technique down, they can just play fast.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do.
Do you remember, back when you guys were freshmen and sophomores, maybe any guys that helped you along, and maybe some lessons that they gave you that maybe you're passing on to the younger guys now?
Rob Stoner,
Shane Hess.
They were here with us for, like we said, they were here for 6 years. They were here for our first 4 years here.
Our freshman year was a guy, Bizorek.
Josh
Bizorek. He was one of our
All-Americans.
Yeah, Costello was a center.
They all did pretty much the same thing with us. They concentrated on the technique.
Fazio.
Yeah,
Fazio.
Like Fazio.
He was a good mentor.
They helped us a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Mental
guys that
part.
help us out and learned a lot from the older guys, and hopefully we can do that for the younger guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about just the way the offense is working this year, and maybe how it's different than it has been in years past.
It's fast.
Faster pace.
Yeah.
Faster.
I like it a lot. We started for 4. We had 4 years of getting the huddle, get set, and go up there, and you're worried about driving people 5 yards off the ball. Now it's a fast pace, get outside and get moving offense.
I think with our players, it's going to help us a lot. We have a lot of fast players. Not saying that we don't have power, but a lot of our players and a lot of football now is based on speed, not based on knocking somebody off the ball. And with our younger offensive linemen, a lot of them aren't big. They aren't 6'6", 330 pounds. Like they're running off the ball. That's what's going to help us, because the players that we have now is just made for this type of offense, and it's really going to help.
Things are starting to click for us.
Yeah.
I felt like we got our feet up underneath us, and we were able to. Our communication was on key, and it was just. We felt like we were working together as a unit very well, like on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big challenge the first 2 weeks. For 2 really good teams, new offense, new coaches, or one new coach, but we're buying more into the offense. We're figuring it out more, and now we're getting the scheme of the offense, not just what our assignment. We kind of understand the offense instead of just knowing what we're going to do. We know why we're doing it that way. So that helped us a lot this week.
For Brian, I know that you grew up around Borough football, obviously, with your dad being a member of the faculty. Talk a little bit about growing up here and watching the games as a kid, and maybe thinking back then to where you are now. Maybe I'd like to be that guy, and playing for Borough when I get older.
Yeah, my dad was the athletic trainer here back when I was a kid. And so I grew up watching football games and being on the sidelines with him and being around the players. So that really did make me want to had that special relationship with here. Yeah, there was a bunch of guys back then that you looked up to and said, I want to be exactly like him. There was one guy, Joe Valvoda, was an All-American center we had here, and that's one of the guys that was a big influence on me. Coming out of high school though, looking at other schools, Edinboro was always that one that I was always attracted to. So made my decision pretty easy. When I was in high school, yeah, especially coming and watching guys I played high school football with, like Robs and Kelly Fonzel and Dan Skelton, Ben Swank, those guys, why not play with them again? Mm-hmm. So that was always in the back of my mind.
And for Jack, what made you choose Edinboro? What brought you here?
Coach Bradford really influenced me a lot. Just the relationship he takes with the players, and he makes it not about football. I know, we talked a lot before I came here when he was recruiting me, and a lot of it wasn't about football. It was just what my interests are, and if this is really the right place for me. And that's what influenced me a lot, is how much care he took in things outside of football.
Mm-hmm. Favorite memories that you guys have, be it a game or a play or something from the past 3 years and now into this year?
There's tons of memories. I don't know if we can really just nail down one. I don't know, one of the most fun games is probably Slippery Rock. Was it our redshirt freshman year?
The night game.
The night game where we were down, we came down to win the game with 30 seconds left. We just drove down and scored. That was probably one of the most memorable. It was a crazy game, crazy last drive. And then Gannon a couple years ago, we won it in the last second field goal, pouring down rain, and 3 delays. That was probably the best on the field memories.
West Liberty game was pretty good.
Yeah.
What was the final?
84 to 63.
That game.
That
was a pretty wild game.
The game before that, we beat East Stroudsburg in the first round of the playoffs to go.
Or we barely made it in.
We didn't think we were going to make the playoffs, and we ended up playing East Stroudsburg.
We're not running backs.
We had one running back in the game, and ended up going to the next week with no running backs.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Yeah, so it was a wild ride that year.
Yeah, definitely was wild.
Coming up, the next home game for all you guys, the last homecoming game. What's that mean for you? Obviously, it's a big game. There's a lot of people in the stands, and this year, rivalry game with Gannon coming into, that's always a big game no matter what. Just talk about coming into the homecoming for your senior years here.
I mean, we know there's going to be a lot of alumni there and a lot of former players, so the goal is always you want to impress them.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to disappoint those guys. Those are the guys we looked up to. Those are the guys that molded us into the people and players we are now. So you definitely want to come out and play well for them and make them feel proud.
They'll be the first ones to tell you what you did wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Is this homecoming mean a little more this year because it's the Gannon game?
I don't know. They're all pretty special.
Because it's our last year, and we have to make every one of them count. So
yeah, this one's definitely means a lot, but they're all special this year, and it's our last chance to ever play football. So
yeah.
It's our last homecoming, which makes it a little bit bigger than the other ones. Just how many people will be there.
It's our first game.
They're there to watch us. We're the seniors. We're the vocal point of the team. So
it's our first game in our backyard brawl.
Yeah.
So that's good.
We always make a big deal.
You get started off good with that.
Yeah.